If you've been scrolling through endless mini fridge options, comparing photos of sleek metal boxes with bright pastel models, and still feel that nagging doubt about which one actually lives up to the hype, you're not alone. I've been there, staring at product pages, wondering whether I'm paying for a pretty face or a fridge that actually keeps my drinks cold without turning my dorm room into a tiny freezer. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this video, I'm going to break down the Smeg FAB5 Retro Mini Fridge, talk through the real-world pros and cons, and help you decide if the 50s-style charm is worth the price tag or if you'd be better off with a plain Jane cooler. First off, let's talk about the vibe. The FB5 is unmistakably a throwback piece. Think crow-finished handles, rounded corners, and a palette that includes creamy pastel, bright teal, and classic ivory. It's the kind of appliance that can double as decor. If you have a small studio, a college dorm, or even a boutique hotel hallway where you want a dash of personality, this fridge fits right in. That's the first practical strength. It actually adds aesthetic value to a space that might otherwise look utilitarian. Now, aesthetics are only part of the story. The unit holds about 1.2 cubic feet of space, which translates to roughly the same volume as a medium-sized cooler. In everyday use, that means you can comfortably store a six-pack of sodas, a couple of jars of jam, maybe a small block of butter, and a few snack containers. The adjustable shelves make it possible to shuffle things around. You can lift a shelf higher to accommodate a taller bottle or lower it for a stack of snack boxes. In my own testing, I found the shelves sturdy enough for a half-gallon of milk without sagging, which is a nice touch for a fridge that's marketed more for looks than load-bearing capacity. One of the claims Smeg makes is an automatic defrost system. In practice, that means you won't have to manually scrape ice buildup every few weeks. For most users, especially those who only store beverages and a few perishables, this is a genuine convenience. I ran the fridge for a month, and the interior stayed frost-free without any noticeable ice formation, even when I left the door open a few seconds longer than usual while grabbing a drink. That automatic cycle runs quietly in the background, so you don't hear a constant hum or clicking that could be distracting in a quiet dorm room or office cubicle. Speaking of noise, the fridge is fairly quiet, but not silent. The compressor kicks in with a low-pitch buzz that you'll hear if you're sitting right next to it. In a shared apartment, that might be fine. Most people won't notice a faint hum while watching TV or studying. However, if you plan to place the unit on a desk or a nightstand where you sleep, the sound could become more noticeable. It's not a roaring compressor, but it's something to keep in mind if you value absolute silence. Now let's address the biggest practical weakness: capacity. A rating of 2.8 out of 5 stars from over 1,000 reviews tells us that a sizable chunk of owners felt the fridge didn't meet their expectations. The most common complaint in the community revolves around the limited space. If you're hoping to stock up on groceries for a week, the FB5 simply won't cut it. It's best suited for supplemental storage. Think a second fridge for drinks, a place to keep a few snacks, or a spot for a single-serve meal kit. Trying to cram a family's weekly grocery haul into this box will quickly turn into a frustrating exercise. Temperature consistency is another point that surfaces in user chatter. The cooling performance is reliable for keeping beverages cold, but the fridge isn't a dedicated freezer. If you place a carton of milk on the bottom shelf, it stays fresh for a few days, but it won't stay as cold as a full-size fridge's dairy compartment. Likewise, the top shelf can get a bit warmer when the door is opened frequently, which is something to consider if you need a stable environment for items like yogurt or cheese. The LED lighting is a nice practical touch. It illuminates the interior evenly, making it easy to see what you've stored without opening the door for a full second. Energy usage is modest. Because the unit is small and uses an automatic defrost cycle, it draws less power than a traditional full-size fridge. In a dorm setting where you're already watching your electricity bill, this can be a subtle but appreciated benefit. That said, the fridge does run continuously, so it will still contribute to your overall consumption. If you're an ultra-green consumer looking for the lowest possible wattage, there are a few ultra-compact models that market themselves on energy-saving labels, but they often sacrifice the retro design that Smeg offers. So, Who should buy the FB5? If you are a design-conscious individual who lives in a small space,